Hi everybody, this is Dan Talks Sense, and today I'm going to do a fragrance review of Slut by the house of Terence Hughes. So if you want to know how it performs and whether I think that you should buy it, please stay tuned. Welcome back. So today it's the 21st of June in the UK. The weather is lovely. I plan to go on a cycle today if the rain stays off. It's one of those climates where it's quite humid but very windy and the rain will be out. And the reason I say that is because on many of my reviews I've done and I plan to do is I'll do a first impressions of this in the house. I will then go out on my bike and feed back to the subscribers how it's performing. It's not too humid to make it unfair in a review, because I think if you review in climates over 20 degrees, it can be a bit unfair on the fragrance, because a lot of fragrances can't perform in those climates. But it's about 18 degrees today, but it's overcast and there's potential for rain, so we'll see how we get on. I got my decant of Slut from Sensualize. Barry from that channel has been really generous. He's almost like my fragrance drug dealer, but he's been really kind. And this is how YouTube fragrance reviewers, we can grow if we support each other and help each other out and swap decants of fragrances. We can do more reviews, and we all have different opinions on fragrances, because there's been fragrances that Barry and other YouTube reviewers have really liked and I haven't liked, or vice versa. I have reviewed one of Terence Hughes' fragrances before. It was a fragrance called Ozone and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really close to Virgin Island water, but in my opinion it performed better, and I've done a review of that, so you can check that out if you haven't already. I have heard of the fragrance Slut. I don't agree with the title. I wouldn't use it in my vocab, and I think it's a sort of a word that is demeaning and derogatory, often used towards females. I don't really like the word. I think that what he's done is he's looked at Tom Ford effing fabulous and he thought that's catchy, it's a great marketing tool and it catches people's attention, and it does, because this really stands out, because how many other fragrances do you know out there that use titles like Slut? When I think of that word, I think it's you just think it's going to be an attention grabbing fragrance. What I do with reviews now is I don't look at the note breakdown, because I want to see what I can get from it without any prior knowledge, and then afterwards in the review, midway through, I then put the notes on the screen, and it's interesting to see if I pick the notes up. But to give me a clear mind, I just do it without any prior knowledge of the notes. So I'll do one in the elbow and on the wrist. That's better. There we go. Okay, so when I smell this has almost got, to me, it's got like an old school feel to it. It's got like, yeah, very like 90s feel for some reason, like an old Givenchy fragrance. Like, for me, I could be well off the mark, but this smells like one of the old Givenchy gentlemen's. A real throwback fragrance, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to like this one, so I'll have to see how it develops. But I put them behind the neck, on the wrist, but not what I thought it would be, to be honest. What I'm definitely getting is an old school vibe. Now I've put them on my elbow joints, back of the ears, on the wrist. I will see how we get on throughout the day, and I will feed back to you, the viewers, what I think as it progresses. So if you want to know more about Slut by Terence Hughes, please stay tuned. I've decided that I'm not going to go out today on a bike ride. It's a bit of a washout. Maybe if it improves later I'll go out, but I'll see how it develops in the house. According to Fragrantica, we have notes of orange tree, jasmine, amber, patchouli, and musk. So I've been wearing this fragrance now for about 4 hours. I've been out into the shops, and what I can say is that it has great performance and great projection. It's now closer to the skin, but I was getting good whiffs of it. It's above average in terms of performance. When I initially sprayed it on, it did take me back to the old school vibe, and it did remind me of like a Givenchy type fragrance because it had the nice orange in the top, but it had like a muskiness about it that made me feel like it was like an old school throwback fragrance. As the fragrance developed, it sort of became very similar to Yves Saint Laurent Chorus. And the reason for that is it got this like soapy musky vibe that came in that is you don't really smell that often in fragrances in 2020. These type of fragrances like your Chorus and Fahrenheit, they were at a time where men could rock them and they didn't really care about wearing them and what people would say. I don't think, it was a different time and they're harder to pull off in 2020. But I still think there is a market for these type of fragrances, and there are plenty of people out there that like this type of smell. They like this old DNA. As it got to the closer to the skin, so now it's much closer to the skin, and I smell it. You can still get the bit of the orange there, and it's really pleasant. But for me, I think that what Aaron's done is he's took the DNA of that old school vibe, that Chorus, and he's put like a modern twist on it by putting the bit of orange in the top. This is a much safer wear than when I say Chorus, I mean the old school Chorus, the original Chorus. This would be a safer bet to wear because you take in the aspects of the original, but this would be much safer to wear. It's civet. I've been looking into civet and what it actually is. It's like a really potent musky smell. It does remind me, if you've watched Anchorman, where he puts on the fragrance and it's like deer musk or something, and then everybody in the office runs out. And whenever I put on a daring scent, I always think, God, imagine if you put this on in the office and everybody in the office couldn't cope with the smell. But this is a safer bet. If you like that old style DNA and you like that really strong muskiness, that throwback type fragrance, this is what you would enjoy this. When before I smelt it, before I looked at the notes, I just imagined that it would be, I don't know, maybe it wasn't what I was expecting. Maybe I thought it was going to be fresher and something that really stood out. You know what? Today I smelt Moschino Toy Boy again, and that for me is so unique and so juicy. I just thought it'd be something like that really stands out. But in terms of being unique, I just don't think it's unique enough for me to want to rush out and buy a bottle. The quality's there, the performance and the projection are there, but I think that if you've already own a bottle of Chorus, then I just think this will be a bit of a redundant purchase. You can, get Chorus for what, 60 to 70 pounds, and this is near enough the same price. The only thing I would say is that this is probably a bit of a safer wear than Chorus. It's got a more modern twist. But they're my views on Slut, really. It was okay, but not outstanding and not unique. I've been listening to other reviews of this fragrance, and nobody seems to have mentioned that they find it similar to Chorus. And then I do question my own nose, but I've looked on Fragrantica, and there was one other person that mentioned that they sort of, it reminded them of Chorus. But yeah, what I'd say to summarise this would be strong, musky, throwback vibe, but a safer bet than wearing Chorus. So if any of my subscribers have tried Aaron Terence Hughes Slut out there, Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of the fragrance. Let me know what you think it smells similar to, because what is great about Fragcom is that we can all interpret fragrances in different ways. We can all find them similar to certain fragrances, and sometimes when you're looking at a forum like Fragrantica, it actually confuses you even more, because some people are saying it's strong, some people are saying it's weak, some people are saying it smells like one thing and another. But that's because our skin reacts to fragrances in different ways, and as a fragrance reviewer, what I'm doing is telling you my experience awareness fragrance and what I felt when I smelt it. So what makes it interesting as well is that not all fragrance reviews are going to be the same, because that wouldn't be interesting for people out there watching these reviews. If we all said exactly the same thing, they're not always going to work for all of us. They're not always going to perform for all of us. So if you found that useful, helpful, and you want to hear more of my reviews on fragrances, then please subscribe. I've got plenty more content like this coming up. I intend to review more fragrances from Terence Hughes because I've enjoyed Ozone. I've tried that and I really enjoyed that. Not obviously too excited about this one, but there might be more further down the line which I'll try and I'll enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll be speaking to you all very soon.